Today's house to house is going to be a little bit longer. I would love to have an opportunity for a few minutes just to lay out for you my sabbatical plan, which is starting this summer. A number of you have said, hey, I would love to just sit down and have coffee with you and to hear more about the adventures you're going to be having this summer. And while I would love to do that with each and every one of you, it might make more sense for us to have coffee right here, right now. So I would invite you to find a cup of coffee. I will go find a drink myself, and I'll meet you right back here in about 10 seconds, and we'll sit and have coffee together. And I'd love to just tell you about this sabbatical, because this involves you as well as a congregation, and not just me. The hope is that this will be a time, a way to be able to be refreshed, to remember again what ministry God has called me into, where God may be leading me, and simply having some time away from the day-to-day to reflect on that. So meet me back here in 10 seconds, and let's have coffee together. This sabbatical plan is brought to you by Big Train Blended Chai. This has for a long time been my addiction and the thing that gets me up in the morning, and usually it's not quite this messy. But hopefully the sabbatical will go a little bit smoother than that. Trying to watch the video and pour the drink. I poured it all over, so a little cleanup needed to happen there. But I've got my drink. Maybe you do too. Love to walk you through this time away. The sabbatical this summer the title is A Focus on Primary Relationships. And my hope is that this will be an opportunity to spend some really quality and quantity time with especially each of the girls in my family. Each one will get about a week of time, bookended with some personal reflection time where I really get to sort of recover that first love of Christ, remember again how and why God first called me into ministry, and sort of recover some of that life and energy that first drew me to want to be a part of that time. It might be helpful if you wanted to sort of read along or look along with me. I have a document that is called Brett's Sabbatical 2022. And if you look in the notes of this video on the YouTube channel here, you'll see a link, and you can click that, and that document will come up. So that could be helpful as well. Also, on Sunday the 29th, I know that's Memorial Day weekend, but if you are able to, during lunch at that time, maybe you make a lunch just for 15 or 20 minutes, most likely. Maybe no one will show up, but just a question and answer time. A follow-up from this video for people to reflect back, ask me some questions. My understanding is that when you allow some time for that, often some really neat switches can happen within a sabbatical time that come from the community from which you're taking a sabbatical, that can even fill out and bring some new elements to what you're planning to do. So I would encourage you to do that, offer your suggestions, ask some questions. Some people may just want some clarification on really what a sabbatical is all about. So 1 o'clock on the 29th, we'll just do a quick Zoom session, and the link is also in this video for that Zoom link, but also we'll send that out. Or it'll be in the bulletin too that Sunday, so that you can click and be a part of that time. Other than that, let me just walk you through a little bit of what the plan is. I've given you a little bit of the overview to spend some time with each of the members of my own family. It occurred to me that each of my girls are moving into a really pivotal time in their own life. Amelia, our youngest, is going to be entering junior high school. Ellie is going to be starting her senior year of high school, and Emma will likely be leaving the house to transfer in as a junior to a university away from home. So these are all big steps, and for us to have some time to really share, to be open to sharing a bit of my story in Christ with my own girls. I realize I've made a life out of telling other people's children my story of Christ, and leaving space for them to process their own journey. But have I done an adequate job, or given time to really tell my story to my own girls in an intentional but gracious way? My spiritual director, I struggle with how do I do this in a way that seems natural, but also seems really intentional, and making sure to have that time. And I told him I want to feel like at moments where I feel like I feel I can breathe freely. I can take a deep breath saying, yes, that was the time to enter in and have that conversation with my daughters. And he said, see, you have a physical clue as to the timing of that, and pay attention to that, pray about that, and listen to that. And I thought that was really helpful to me as we move towards this. Mark Terrell, my spiritual director, has been walking with me monthly since January to help me with prayer exercises and some reading material that to help guide this sabbatical time, and that's been immensely helpful for me as well. So let me just walk you through a little bit of the plan. July 6th, we will head out of town and do our usual pilgrimage to Washington, driving up there. On July 9 and 10, that's when I kind of feel like the sabbatical will officially start, when I'll get to take 2 days at Camp Spalding. I wore the shirt, which is a camp that I grew up at, have been a speaker at several years, first really met Jesus and was called into ministry. And so that just seems like, since I'm going to be in the area, a really fitting way to start the journey and have some personal reflection to guide what the rest of the time will look like. So that's the first just couple of days. I'll come back from that into Spokane, and the very next day, 5 o'clock in the morning, the flight keeps getting changed to earlier and earlier, but 5 o'clock in the morning, I'll fly back to the Bay Area and meet Emma, and we will head to Peru for a week for an adventure with Emma. When she was 12 years old, she said, "Dad, you're going to turn 50 the same year I turned 21, which is this year." She said, "Let's climb Mount Rainier together." That's when we could see Mount Rainier in our backyard. And preparing for that's what we always hoped to do. We thought, great, the sabbatical will come at a perfect time. It turns out the permits are almost cost prohibitive if you go with a guided service, and they're very difficult to get right now. So turns out going to Peru was actually a little bit cheaper, especially since Emma said she would pay for the airfare to get there, which was generous of her and helps her really be a part of this journey and adventure, which we're really looking forward to. We're gonna go see Machu Picchu, but we're gonna take a 46-mile trip that goes up to 15,000 feet in elevation, called the Salcantay Trek, for 4 days as we loop around to that, and just really looking forward to that adventure with her. So that'll be July 11 through 18. After that, we'll do what I'm calling the usual Shoemaker Pilgrimage through the Northwest, hitting many of our favorite spots that we hit a lot of the years, including Lopez Island in the San Juans, at a favorite campground there, Priest Lake, Idaho, where my parents have a cabin there on the lake, and Black Butte Ranch, which is in Central Oregon, which is a vacation spot we've gone to every year, my family and Wendy's family, since we were in 4th grade together. So marrying Wendy was a little bit like marrying your cousin, because we spent so many family vacations together in that place. We got engaged on a pond there in a canoe, and so it'll be nice to have some of those weeks to just do some of our usual time together. After that, in August, will be an adventure with Ellie, and she somehow, when she moved to California, she found her way to surfing. Even though she lived 2 hours inland in Sacramento, she wanted to be a surfer. So she has since purchased 2 of her own surfboards with her own money. And during COVID, she went out there every Monday with Mom to surf, and she's gotten pretty good. So we're going to go explore some of the beaches in Southern California, down in San Diego. We're renting a cargo van so that some of the nights we can just sleep in the van on the beach. She really wants to do that. I'm not so sure. We'll see how that goes. It'll be the quest to find hot showers throughout the week at state parks or whatever, but it should be a fun adventure together as well. After that is an adventure with Amelia, which the crown jewel is Disneyland. We're going to head to Disneyland, but I really think that she has not had a chance to know that she has a real outdoor spirit. I think we'll find out, because we're going to spend a couple days camping on the way there in Calaveras, Big Trees, and then also just outside Yosemite. Take a couple of day hikes, enjoy some time in the outdoors together there. With each of the girls, there's a little surprise that they don't know about. So if you want to know about those, you have to come find me. I will be happy to tell you, and you can keep the secret too. Nothing big, but just something that they also don't know. But I'm hoping that in all these, we're going to have just some great travel time in the car, time on the trail, to be able just to consider life and to really point out and recognize the blessings that God has given to us, recognize that God is calling us to something great. Once we get back from that, school will be about to start. So September I'll have about 3 weeks where I'll get to just be. And I think that's a really important phase of this sabbatical. My personality tends to want to just pack every spare minute with some other adventure. And you see that so far. There will be about 3 weeks where I can just be present with some home projects, being home at the beginning and after school for girls, which I very rarely am, and just being able to be around and do life and really practice and hone in on the rhythms of the prayer exercises and be able to do some things like running and hiking that I love to do anyway. So September will be great for that. On the 22nd of September is my adventure with Wendy, and we are going to be heading to Kauai, which cost-wise won out over a couple other East Coast destinations, which is fine with me. That sounds great, and we get to sort of relive a second honeymoon that we took 3 years after we were married there, and get to be in that place again together will be great. And of all these, all of the girls have meant a lot to the building of my ministry, obviously. But Wendy probably deserves this sabbatical more than I do, in all that she's had to put up with and navigate as mom and as wife of a pastor. And so I'm so grateful to her for all that she's done. And this will also be her 50th birthday on that trip. So looking for some other surprise that I can implement into that week together on the islands. One last final solo adventure that I'll have to sort of encapsulate all this is in Portland. So from the October 1st to about 6 or 7, I'll be heading up there to Oregon. Part of it will be to run the Portland Marathon. Will be the same day as Team World Vision runs the Urban Cow here. So I'll be running with them. I'll wear my orange shirt, and I will join them in that, but I'll be doing that race. Portland Marathon started the year I was born, in 1972, and I ran my very first marathon when I was 30 years old, on the 30th anniversary of the Portland Marathon. I ran it when I was 40 on its 40th anniversary. Now I'm 50, so I got to do what comes naturally if my body can get me through it. So I'm hoping to run that and then have some time afterwards to just kind of reflect on the adventure. I'm hoping to go to a place called Mount Angel Monastery. It sounds like they're really booked with some retreats right now, and they're waiting to get back to me on that. Otherwise, I'll do a little bike adventure or hiking adventure, something for a couple of days to unwind and decompress from all the adventures that we've had. Mark Terrell, who I mentioned earlier, my spiritual director, is hoping to join me on one of the final days just help me to be a sounding board, to help me to process, to go through my journal a little bit with me and think through what all this is going to mean. So when I get back, I do hope to have another opportunity to share with you what it's meant for me and how it will play out in terms of ministry and life here at Faith Presbyterian as well. But until that time, I will have those last couple of days to do that, and then return and drive back. My first Sunday back, my first day back in the office, I think will be Monday, October, what is that, 8 or 9, and then the first Sunday will be the one following. I'll look forward to seeing everybody at that point. Of course, it will be high time to just re-enter regular life, and I already am anticipating that I'm going to really miss just daily life here, working with the great staff that I get to work with on a daily basis, and the people I get to see, volunteers, and friends in ministry that I do things with. There will be a hard edge to it, even in the midst of all the fun that we're planning to be away from regular life, and then to try to re-enter that again. So I value your prayers on anything that you heard within this that's going to be a challenge, things that are going to be a blessing too. So I'm really grateful to the session, to Jeff, who helped really process some possibilities of what the sabbatical could be, others who took a look at this and gave me suggestions. Value your insights too. Again, on the 29th of May at 1 o'clock, just for 20-30 minutes or so, we'll have a Zoom call if people want to ask questions, offer suggestions. I would even welcome prayers for the journey at that time too. So thank you if you made it this far in this video. I'm amazed. It was a long one, I know, but I wanted to have a chance for those that are interested to hear it in more of its entirety, and for me to be able to give it a little more life than just words on a page. So thanks for tuning in. Hope that you are well. I hope that this also encourages people to find their own mini sabbatical, Sabbath rest, a day a week, a couple days each year to just be away and to reflect on what God's done. Thanks for tuning in. Take care.